Jimin's reaction after Jungkook's confession. I don't know what to say. This news shook the army around the world. Jungkook's confession in front of thousands of fans was a memorable moment, but what was even more thrilling was how Jimin responded. The words that came out of Jimin's lips, I don't know what to say, became a sentence that contained thousands of meanings, enveloping the various emotions that exploded at that moment, between being surprised, touched, and losing control of his own feelings. That night, the previously boisterous atmosphere of the stadium slowly turned into a deep silence. All are waiting for what will happen after Jungkook reveals the confession he has been keeping close. That moment felt like time stopped. Jungkook spoke from the heart, with a slightly trembling but still firm voice, saying something that so far may only be the secret behind their smiles, laughter, and interactions that are seen in public. Jungkook finally says what he's been feeling for a long time, something that even some of the army could only guess from the look in their eyes and the warmth they could never hide. After the confession, the cameras immediately caught Jimin's reaction. His gaze was blank for a few seconds, as if his mind was still trying to catch up with what he had just heard. His lips were slightly open, but no words came out immediately. It is in this moment that Jimin looks completely human, not as a superstar who is always ready for an answer, but as someone who is really struck by such a deep shock. I don't know what to say, said Jimin at last, almost in a whisper, but it was enough to be heard clearly by all those present and also by the millions of people who watched through the live broadcast. One simple sentence that only reinforces the severity of Jungkook's confession. It is not a rejection, nor is it an instant acceptance. It was the purest outpouring of honesty from a Jimin who was trying to process feelings so deep, so sudden, and so real. The mood turns emotional. The army in the stadium began to cry, some of them closing their mouths in disbelief at what they had just witnessed. The camera briefly captured Jungkook's hand rubbing his own face, as if trying to calm himself while waiting for a full reaction from Jimin. But all that came from Jimin was a glazed look, trembling lips, and a low voice that admitted that he really didn't know what to say. Moments later, Jimin tried to calm himself down. He laughed a little, trying to break the atmosphere, but actually made everyone even more excited. The laughter didn't sound as joyful as usual. The laughter was self-defense, Jimin's way of masking how much he was actually swept up in such strong feelings. Jungkook, who had been nervous since the beginning of the night, finally smiled a little, a smile that seemed to say that he did not expect any answer. He only wanted to tell the truth, to express his heart without burden. Jimin's reaction then became a topic of discussion on various platforms. The army talks a lot about how one sentence speaks more than 1,000 words. I don't know what to say became a repeated phrase, made into a worldwide quote. It is a sign that their relationship is much deeper than what the eye can see. Some observers even argue that Jimin's reaction shows how their relationship is not something made up for public consumption. This is a true story, a story of two people who have gone through so much together and finally got to the point where honesty became the only option. No longer about popularity, not about the stage, but about the heart. After the concert, Jungkook and Jimin chose not to give an official statement about the confession. They let everyone translate the moment in their own way. Perhaps because for Jungkook and Jimin, not everything needs to be explained in long words. There are times when silence is more talk. There are times when one simple sentence like, I don't know what to say, holds the whole heart. Over the next few days, it became a topic of conversation. Many associate the event with their old interactions that are now viewed from a new perspective. ARMY began to understand that there may have been a lot of things stored behind the eyes, a light touch on stage, and a smile they shared with each other. Jimin himself on several occasions seemed more reserved when discussing the concert that night. In a live broadcast held a few days later, he had a slight smile when a fan asked, "Do you already know what you want to say to Jungkook?" Jimin only replied slowly, "I guess sometimes. I still don't know." A simple sentence, but it only reinforces the meaning of what has happened. Jungkook, who was also asked about the moment in his live broadcast, just chuckled and said, "I just want him to know. I'm not waiting for an answer. I just want to tell you the truth." a statement that made it clear that what Jungkook needed that night was not perfect approval or reaction. He just wanted to be his most honest self in front of Jimin, in front of the army, and in front of himself. Over time, the moment did not fade away, it took root even more in the memory of the fans. Every time the video of Jungkook's confession was replayed, every time Jimin's phrase, "I don't know what to say," was heard again, armies around the world seemed to be brought back to that night. A night where two hearts talked to each other in the most honest and most human way possible, and no one knows for sure how the continuation of their story will be behind the stage, away from the glare of cameras and the cheers of fans. However, what is clear is that the moment has witnessed how deep their relationship is. Maybe they never planned to share that story with the world. Maybe they just followed what their hearts felt at the time. And that is precisely where the beauty lies. The honesty that is not made up, that does not require a scenario, that does not require a perfect answer. Jungkook and Jimin have taught us something simple that we often forget. Sometimes, the greatest courage is not when we know what to say, but when we are honest even when we don't know what to do next. They show that honesty is the highest form of courage, and that love, friendship, and sincere relationships don't always require a lot of words. That day has passed, the concert is over, but its echoes will always live on. Jungkook and Jimin may have continued their journey to the next stages, face new challenges, and live an increasingly expansive life. But for ARMY, that moment will always be a special chapter in their story, a tearful confession, an unspoken answer, and a silence that speaks louder than anything. In their silence, the ARMY found meaning. In their gazes, the ARMY found strength. And in one simple sentence that came out of Jimin's heart, ARMY found immortality. Now, that moment has become part of their history. A story that will continue to be remembered as one of the most heartfelt moments that ever happened on the BTS stage. Their relationship will probably always remain a mystery that the outside world cannot fully understand. But surely, for the ARMY, one sentence from Jimin was enough. Because in that silence and in that unplanned sentence, they find true love, honesty, and bonding. In the end, the moment was no longer just a part of the concert or just an interaction on stage. That moment has been transformed into a lasting memory that lives in the hearts of millions of people. Jungkook and Jimin, with all their sincerity, have created a story that transcends the limits of words, a story that will always be remembered by the ARMY around the world. When the spotlight went out, when the stage was empty, and when the voices of thousands of fans slowly disappeared, all that remained was a deep feeling. Their relationship, whatever it is called, has touched the hearts of many people. Not all stories need an answer, not all confessions need a reply. Sometimes it is enough to have the courage to express and enough sincerity to accept that not everything is immediately understandable. Jimin may not have known what to say at the time, but it was precisely in that silence that everything felt so real. And for Jungkook, perhaps the most important thing is that he has spoken with the most honest heart. Their journey is still long, their story still continues, but that moment, that night will always be the most beautiful chapter in their story with ARMY. A moment that will never be forgotten.